We give you tons of reasons why you should move to Colorado Springs, but today we want to warn you about some of the things that might not be so attractive about this city.
After watching this, you can't say that we didn't warn you about the potential downside.
All right, so by the time you're watching this, it's going to be early May, and there are some really serious things that we need to talk about with Colorado Springs climate and seasons. For example, this morning when I went to the gym, it was 31 degrees, and by the time I got home, it's only 38 degrees. I went on the weather app just out of pure curiosity to check some places like Florida, Texas, Arizona, and you guys are all at 60 degrees with highs of 85. We will not even hit 60 degrees for our high, and again, this is in May. So if cold weather and random weather isn't something that you're willing to deal with, Colorado Springs might be a little bit of an adjustment for you.
Well, and I think just last week we were in like 60s and
75s.
And yeah. And so I think that is, if you are not someone who likes four seasons, I particularly love four seasons, except for the older that I'm getting, the less that I like our snow. But if you are someone who just really likes consistent weather, Colorado's not going to be it, right?
One thing that I've realized about Colorado Springs people is that those who like the snow are pretty active with snowboarding and skiing and things like that. Crystal and I just, one, don't have the super interest for it anymore, and two, especially the time, we feel like if we're going up, we should go up for the whole weekend, which is another reason why I don't think that snow is so much in our future very much anymore.
For sure. Totally agree. I think Colorado is like home, right? And we, as you guys know, we're born and raised here. We love so much about Colorado. But I will say that it's super frustrating, especially as a female, you guys, is to go from being in cute little summer dresses to now we have to wear long sleeves, and I'm a big fan of a hoodie. And so it's frustrating because you'll go out thinking this is what you're going to be wearing, and then you're going to come home and you're going to be wearing something completely different because of the weather changes in the climate.
Yeah, in my mindset, I can get pretty fixed, especially around, usually, not always, but our first snow is somewhere around Halloween. So I know between Halloween and March, it's our birthdays in March, so we usually go somewhere out of town, thankfully. But during that period of time, you're basically guaranteed for cold weather and you're guaranteed for snow. But in April, it gets really weird because it could be sunny and 75, or it could be snowing, or it could just be dreadfully cold and gray skies. So you kind of have to, if you're like me and the weather affects your mood, you're going to want to check that weather app, and you're going to want to know what the next few days are bringing you so that you can mentally prepare for that, which has really helped me. I used to have pretty bad issues. I would get so angry just because it would be 30 when I was expecting it to be 75. So that's just something to keep in mind too.
Absolutely.
All right, it's about 8 a.m. Colorado Springs. Just got home from the gym. And to prove a point, it's early May. You can see the sky behind me. It is a whopping 38 degrees right now. So May, not so warm in Colorado Springs all the time.
Since we just said how we don't like all the cold, what about the heat? Because our elevation and our climate is very different here to where you are exposed to UV exposure year round, basically. We get sun, I think, 300 days a year. So you do have, you should always wear sunscreen, you guys, but it's definitely something that you have to take into consideration when living here in Colorado.
Yeah, if you're new to our channel, you probably don't know this, but if you watched a few episodes, hello again. Crystal and I are your real estate experts here in Colorado Springs, and one of the things that we always warn our clients about that are moving from out of state is we highly recommend that if it's ever possible, come and visit for a week, if not 2 weeks, because the elevation and the dry climate, the altitude, all those factors can cause some serious health issues, even if you're an athlete. Not necessarily like you're going to the hospital, but it is a huge adjustment for people. Manitou Incline is something that people really get excited about doing. If they are outdoor enthusiasts, they might come here and try to do it day one and have an episode with it they've never had before because they're just not used to it. So if you are planning on relocating to the Colorado Springs area, first of all, reach out to us so that we can help you. But I highly recommend just coming, experiencing what this climate is like so that you can make sure that it's something that you would be able to get used to.
For sure. And in my past life, when I was the GM of Gold's Gym, we used to have professional athletes come in and train all the time. And it would my office used to be the corner office, and I would have glass everywhere, so I could oversee basically the whole entire gym. And it was the funniest thing. Probably not funny to them, but it was really funny to me, because you would have these guys come in that are pro athletes, and they would be dying on the treadmill. They'd be like, what the heck is going on? And it's because of our elevation and in our seasons. Like, it's crazy at how much it will affect the way that you breathe. And so, like Sean said, we would love to give you a tour of Colorado Springs, surrounding areas. Even if you're not wanting to buy a house right away, you just want to explore, like, book a trip. Let us know. We'll carve out a day and help you kind of get to know a few of the different areas. And that way you can see, because I think within about 3 days is when your body is like, okay, it doesn't like this. Now, I will say, just because you get like a nosebleed because you came here because we're super freaking dry, or you're walking through a store and you start to breathe heavy, that does not mean that Colorado isn't the right place for you.
Right.
It just means that you just keep in mind you're going to have to adapt to that, and you will, as long as you don't have serious health issues.
I thought it was the silliest thing when it first came out, but it's actually extremely popular, and it's very popular here in Colorado Springs. They sell it at like Dick's Sporting Goods and things like that, but it was a can of oxygen. I'm like, this is never, because I'm born and raised here, so I don't ever travel anywhere and get affected by climate or altitude or anything like that. So as a native, I'm like, this is the silliest thing ever. I think it was on Shark Tank maybe originally, but if not, either way. Thought it was super silly, but now, especially during the summer, if you see people out in nature or anything like that, do not be surprised if they have that can of like to-go oxygen. Like I said, you can get it at sporting goods stores and things like that. But don't feel weird about getting it. If you're going to visit here and you feel like that might be something that would totally affect you, get a can when you get here, and then that way you have it just in case things get a little bit hairy. But like she said, it's not going to determine in your first day or two, like if you do get out of breath, if Colorado Springs is the right place for you or not. That's why I said try to stay here for maybe a week, if not a little bit longer. Obviously, everybody's schedule can't allow for that, but if it's at all possible, make sure that you do that, because once you get used to it, then you can really start to enjoy Colorado Springs for what it is.
Absolutely.
On that note as well, I will say, with the varying seasons and things like that, if you are an allergy person,
oh gosh,
be prepared. Again, sometimes it can be windy in Colorado Springs and even the surrounding cities. So I don't have super bad allergies, except to cats. Cats, that's not nature related. Grass and things like that don't bother me too much. Pollen, but I still always carry Zyrtec in my truck, just in case we're going to a client's house and they have a cat, but also just in case we're going to go to the mountains and do a hike. I always will take that, even though my allergies aren't severe, because when they get bad, they get really bad.
So another thing that could be like a negative when moving to Colorado Springs is that, when we talk about our weather, we do get hailstorms. Mm-hmm. We get crazy freaking wind. Like, we just had to go put the cover on our hot tub because the wind was so crazy last night. And so those are big things to consider. Now, we don't get a lot. I mean, we're landlocked, so we don't have, hurricanes or natural disasters and that sort. But we've had trampolines go from one house all the way to like 5 houses like over. So
I'll send you the Amazon link to the stakes to stake it down. It won't happen to you because you're a professional, but it has happened.
But it happens. And then don't get me started with hailstorms, because you don't know how many times we've had to have clients replace their roofs because
she was a victim.
The hail. And I was a victim.
Was it last year?
I think it was.
We won't talk about it, but it was a random 15 seconds of hail, and she calls me. She says, I sure got hail. I'm like, there's no way you got hail. I got hail damage.
Well, it literally was, it came, you guys, and then it went within probably 3 minutes, I would say. But I was driving down the road, and I could not, what am I going to do? Stop, and then it's just going to like continue to go. But it was so loud. I've never, ever experienced that before, so it totally freaked me out because I was a little baby. But I was more worried about the fact that I was going to get hail damage on my car. And guess what? Came home. Sean was like, there's no way. It didn't even hail for that long.
She was, I think, probably like 3 to 5 minutes away from where I was, and we had zero hail. So I'm like, there's no way. And yeah, sure enough, 3 to 5 minutes away, there was some pretty nasty hail, which sucks because you can prepare for it. You can have a garage or a cover of whatever sort, that big inflatable, I think it's called hail protector, which is great if you're home. But what happens in Colorado Springs when you're driving, it's sunny and 75, boom, it flips a switch, and then all of a sudden you're getting golf ball size hail. So it's kind of hard to prepare for, or if you're at work, if you're working in an office and don't necessarily have like visibility to the outdoors, or even if you do, you probably can't just get up and leave to go protect your car. So another reason, check your weather app, check it more in detail to see if there's any crazy hailstorms. It was about 2 weeks ago. We had a hailstorm that hit at probably 6 p.m. I was like, what's going on? And it was the middle of April. So just be prepared. Hail is definitely...
Well, and with that said, though, right? So we can't control if there's a hailstorm. We can't control the wind. However, we can control the fact that we can connect you with an amazing insurance broker who will be able to get you good car insurance, good homeowners insurance, because those are two things that you will need here in Colorado Springs. If you're buying a house, you automatically have to have homeowners insurance, but there's a difference, right? And we have two amazing people that we use all the time.
That's clear. Don't tell them. I'm clear. Sorry. We'll get to that.
Okay, just kidding. Just kidding. You can't know yet.
So Crystal's on timeout with insurance for now. But to kind of conclude all of this, the seasons and the weather and the climate in Colorado Springs can be very random. So if you're going to move or relocate to Colorado Springs, that is something that you definitely need to be prepared for. Try to come here and visit if you can, or you might be victim, like we've helped some clients, they buy a house here, they're here for maybe a couple years at most, and then they end up moving back to Texas or Florida or wherever they're from just because they weren't physically prepared for the seasons, or they just didn't like it. They didn't realize how shifty the weather can be.
Right.
So now that you're educated and now that you're prepared, you will not be one of those people.
So fun fact about me, I love all black. I love all black in my cars. I love black rooms. I would paint our whole entire house black. I really would. Sean won't let me. But the bad thing about living in Colorado Springs, because remember, we're getting to the dirty stuff, you guys. We tell you guys all the time how much we absolutely love Colorado and Colorado Springs, but there is some dirty spots to it. And one of those is the fact that because of our lovely weather and our roads, our cars get so freaking filthy and dirty all the time. All the time.
Yep. Doesn't matter what season you're in. If it's summer, you got to worry about the morning dew or the rainstorms, and it's going to ruin your car. You have to park it in the garage, or else I can promise you'll wash it one day, and then the very next day, it's going to be dirty. I like cars. I've had lots of cars. I like trucks. I've had lots of trucks. So I am definitely a car and truck enthusiast. So, and that's another problem, and I've mentioned it before when it comes to snow, like you can't have rear-wheel drive sports cars here in Colorado Springs. I have had several of them in the past, and a good friend of mine, you may have heard us talk about it before, he owns RC Construction here in town. He just got a new sports car, probably a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
We went to dinner with him,
and I
had to drive it. I had to drive it, because of course I have to drive it. And I'm telling you, just because of the roads and the condition, I will not own a sports car here in Colorado Springs anymore because the roads are so bad. It's hard to keep clean. The seasons, you can barely take it out. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people do have sports cars and they take them out and they get really risky and take them out when it's snowing and things like that. If you are an enthusiast and that's your thing, by all means, go ahead and do it. But just plan for flat tires because of the roads and nails and things like that. Scuffs on your bumpers or your skirts because, again, the roads are just so crazy here. But yeah, keeping your car...
Well, and don't forget about those curbs that just automatically like pop out and hit your tire wheel. Like,
yeah, we have jumping curbs here.
Yep.
Pretty...
Another really bad thing here in Colorado Springs.
Really unique to Colorado Springs, apparently. Yeah, those jumping curbs. But yes, it is extremely hard, especially for Crystal. She's had black on black the past probably 4 vehicles that she's had. So Sean gets to take them to the car wash.
I was going to say, just get you a significant other that will wash the car for you because you'll need it. You'll need it pretty much every other day, I feel like. Speaking of, my car's a little dirty, but anyway.
So yes, car maintenance is a huge challenge here in Colorado Springs. We talked about summer with the rain, but winter, don't even try.
Yeah.
Just cancel your car wash membership, save the $30 a month. It's good luck.
It's gonna snow, it's gonna rain, you're gonna get mud everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the biggest thing that drives me freaking bonkers is our roads. Like the maintenance is horrible. And I thought, because we do try to travel a lot, but we don't really go explore a lot, I would say. We do travel, but we don't go explore. But there's a lot of places that have really crappy roads, like outside of Colorado and Colorado Springs, like different states. So do you have, I want to know below, comment below and let us know, how are your roads?
Where are you from?
Yeah, and where are you from? Because obviously that's gonna be a good thing. But like our roads, we have these big old potholes that are ridiculous, and the city takes forever to be able to do anything with them. The tar will instantly like come up. It's just a pain in the butt. And so your car is literally will always be messy. And on top of that, just, if you do have a low car, we've had several to where it's like, it does scrape on everything. It does damage the car. So those are some of the not so good things about Colorado Springs.
The other thing I'm curious about when it comes to your vehicles is, where are you from, and do you get a rock chip in your windshield every other month? I'm telling you, whenever we get a new car, the first thing that I put on that bad boy is wherever I purchase it from, the windshield maintenance plan. Because I'm not doing it through my insurance.
Don't do that.
You can say
can't talk about insurance yet, but
you can say the rates won't raise, but
they do.
They do, promise you. And one of you is gonna say, "Oh, well, I do it all the time, and it doesn't change." Okay, good for you. I'm not doing it. I always get the protection plan. It's usually around $500, and then I get free windshields for like 2 years if something ever happens to them. Windshield chips here are absolutely insane.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, couldn't say it twice. Couldn't say it the first time. But yeah, we, especially driving down the highway, I'm just saying, be prepared for that. Don't tailgate. Drivers in Colorado Springs, they have good days, they have bad days. But yes, don't tailgate. You're going to get windshield chips left and right. Try to take care of your car.
If you don't tailgate, like the trucks, I still have a chip in my car, in my windshield right now, because the windshield is back ordered. But
he doesn't get the protection.
I do not. Sean gets every warranty possible. Like,
no.
Salespeople love him because he'll be like, yep. And I'm like, nope.
See, this is the thing.
In this one, though, you are smarter. I'll agree with that.
She's on timeout again. That's twice. When I get these warranties, there's 2 things that I do. 1, I calculate how much money I saved by not having to pay for stuff out of pocket. And 2, when I trade in that vehicle, I always make sure that whatever I purchase, basically I get the dollars back. So if I traded it in for 2 years and I had a 5-year protection plan, I get the 3 years of payments that I didn't put in towards it. I get it back. So I get reimbursed for whatever I didn't use, and I still get things fixed within that time period. So I'm always in the good. Crystal she likes to spend money. All right, I'm going to untime out Crystal because we have gotten to the insurance part, and she's apparently eager to talk about this.
Well, because, I know from personal experience, right? We do, to where insurance is super, super important on your vehicles and on your houses. And like I was saying before Sean rudely interrupted me, you have to have homeowners insurance when you purchase a house. But it does make a difference of who you go through. And we do partner with a few amazing local brokers who will help you shop different insurance companies, because your rates will continue to go up. And fun, not so cool fact, you guys, Colorado Springs is about 38% higher than the national average for homeowners insurance.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane.
Everybody that we've talked to, insurance has gone up over the country, not just Colorado Springs. But that is one thing. Our property taxes are relatively low here in Colorado Springs compared to around the country, I would say. So people are excited about that. But then when we get into this insurance stuff and they figure out what their rates are going to be, it's It's pretty crazy. So,
and what I love about our guy too is that every year he shops it for us. And I mean, yes, it still goes up because every single company is raising it, especially because of the hailstorms and the natural fires and all that kind of stuff. But like, he will get you the best deal that there is out there and make sure that you are happy. And if for some reason one of his providers can't do it, he finds you a way. Like, we have commercial vehicles because we have another company, and it was a pain in the butt to try to find someone who would carry it. And he goes out of his way to truly just help you figure out what to do and how to do it. And I ask him 1,000,001 questions, you guys, and he always answers them. So
I got you, homie.
We have connections to be able to help you get the best deal, because your insurance, your car insurance is going to be high, and your homeowner's insurance is obviously 38% higher than the national average, which is just redonk.
And then 2 other points to this. 1, check your deductibles. I have the best insurance. Oh, yeah. Till your deductibles through the roof. So make sure that you know about that before you purchase your insurance policy. And 2, I don't care where you are in the country, if you are in the market for a Hyundai or a Kia,
do not do it.
You might want to rethink it and talk to your insurance people first. I believe the cutoff year, I do not know this 100%, so somebody fact check me, but I believe the cutoff year for Hyundais and Kias is like 2020. But between 2014 and 2019, they were so easy to steal. They didn't have some sort of modular or something or another.
Ridiculous.
And yeah, our daughter's Kia was just recently stolen and totaled, and yeah, so we were not able to get that one back. So if you're in the market for a Hyundai or a Kia, not just in Colorado Springs, they are very easy to steal between a certain year, I believe 2015 to 2019. After that, it's gotten much better. But related to insurance, even though they have gotten better, you definitely want to check your insurance policy. It is extremely hard to find someone that will carry it, especially between those years. I talked to my neighbor. He actually has a Hyundai and a Kia, and he said the same thing. His is a newer one. I believe it's a 2024 model. And he said he purchased it. Some dealers here make you have like the insurance visible when you leave, some just don't. And he did not shop his insurance beforehand. And he said that his insurance, if he could go back and redo it, he would just buy a different brand because his insurance is so high on that vehicle.
100%. So let's talk about something.
Touchy subject for some.
Very much so. Not something that we normally talk about on our YouTube channel, just because it's not really our lifestyle. But the elephant in the room, right? Colorado was one of the first states to legalize marijuana, right? So bad thing and good thing, depending on which way you swing.
Very much so.
But regardless of all of that, if you do not like the smell of marijuana, Colorado Springs in Colorado probably is not going to be a good fit for you, because you smell it going into the stores, you smell it going into the mall, you smell it on people all the time. And there is I don't even know what they're like, really, what are weed stores really called?
We'll just call it the weed store. We're not very...
It's not our thing, you guys.
Don't do that if you couldn't tell.
But
not that we're against it at all.
No.
By any means. I think that there is many health benefits and many reasons why it was legalized, and it's just not our personal...
It's just not our lifestyle, right? Not saying it's good or bad or anything like that, but just kind of, you guys, we're fully transparent with you guys. We tell you anything and everything that you want to hear. And this is one of the things, like, you can get marijuana pretty much at any corner.
Dispensaries.
That's what it was.
Don't worry, you pro marijuana folks, we got you covered.
But there are dispensaries everywhere, and so that could be a pro and a con.
It just depends on, I think, where your culture is. If you're currently Washington was one of the other first states that legalized it. If you're living in Washington now and it's a downside for you, and you're looking to literally get away from it, Colorado Springs is probably going to be the same for you. If you're from a state, which I don't know it off the top of my head, where it is illegal, maybe Las Vegas? I don't remember. No, not Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Arizona, I think. Anyways, wherever it is that's illegal and that's something that you're wanting to incorporate into your culture and into your lifestyle, welcome home, because you can find it absolutely everywhere here.
For sure.
With it, obviously, there's rules and regulations, just like with alcohol or anything else. But another thing that you'll notice, just like with alcohol and everything else, is that some people don't abide to those rules. So Don't be surprised, call me silly, but I'm in a flag football league with some other real estate agents, only for a short period of time. But last week when I showed up to the game, that was something that was being consumed within the park grounds, not necessarily like in the park, but even though that's probably not somewhere that it is necessarily like you should do it here, it can, just like with alcohol. How many times have you seen people with a tumbler and find
There's no
out
alcohol in this tumbler, you guys. It's water.
mine today, it's water, I promise, because we're so dry, because our climate's so crazy, so drink tons of water. But yeah,
Drink Red Bull.
or just drink Red Bull. That works too. But yeah, it is something that you will see in public. It is something that you will see in people's homes. It is legal here. So like it or don't like it, that's the lifestyle.
Right. If it's something that is something that you are very much against, that's why we're letting you know, right? Is that it is very...
It's welcome.
I would say welcome. Welcome's a really good word for it. It's welcomed here and it's available kind of at your fingertips. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and you, especially if you're in law enforcement or in the military or something like that, just because it's legal in Colorado does not necessarily mean that you are allowed to do it. There are many places that will still drug test. Weed is the thing. If you are smoking marijuana or consuming marijuana and it pops on your drug test, like I said, especially for military and law enforcement, especially the younger soldiers, some people just don't do their research and know these things. But if you consume it and it pops up on your drug test, it can lead to some serious consequences. So make sure that you do your research and figure out if it is available for you to consume with your job that you have.
So now that we talked about all of that fun stuff, let's talk about houses, home average, all that stuff. Because as you guys know, we are your local real estate agents and we're here to help you when you're moving here to Colorado Springs. But fun fact is, what is our average higher?
We're about 13% higher than the national average, which we've talked about it a few times. If you compared us 10 years ago to the national average, we were below the national average. But this city just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. Our average price of a home around the time of this recording is $495,000.
Which is crazy. It's $500,000 is the average of what you can get a home for.
Right. Average.
And let's not talk about rent, which rent, it's just a waste of money, but sometimes you just have to. But I mean, you can't get any, like the average I think is like $2,000.
Right.
Like you can't get anything lower for, and that's like, you guys, that's a 1-bedroom, tiny apartment. It's not like a luxury apartment or anything like that. It's like 1-2-bedroom, basic.
You can find it cheaper. You're not going to like what you're going to find.
Right. You could
just like the average price of a home, $495,000, which is another talking point. Like, we had some buyers recently. They're under contract. Woo! Shout out. But over the last month, we've been shopping for them, and it was in anywhere between like $350,000 and $400,000. When we did find the home, we immediately had to go see it because days on market for those homes is extremely low still because there are far and few between.
If it's in decent condition, right?
Yes.
Because what you normally get under that $400 price point needs a lot of work. You have bigger ticket items that are wrong with it. It's sellers trying to sell at market rate. However, it is an investment property, right? And so that's the biggest difference. Of the ones that go really, really fast are the ones that are decent homes.
Yeah, and just to give you guys some insight on this home specifically, we were shopping with them for about a month. We had seen probably 20 houses.
Yeah, I'd say.
And with this one specifically that they were able to get under contract on, it was 1,700 square feet, 4 bedrooms because they needed some bedrooms, which is great for them, but 1,700 square feet, and it was built in 1961. And it was in Fountain, which is cheaper than Colorado Springs. So Fountain is just south of Colorado Springs.
Their average is a little bit lower than ours.
It's by Fort Carson for any of you that are unfamiliar with the area. You got Fountain, and then Colorado Springs is just north of that.
Which is great, though, especially if you are military, if you're PCSing here, you get some really good price points in that area. So that way it's just a quick drive into Carson.
Yeah, and another thing, especially for them, because they were first-time home buyers, which is always so much fun.
You guys, they were how old?
23.
23 years old purchasing their first home. It's so freaking exciting. It's one of my favorite things about being in real estate is to be able to help our younger generation invest in something that long-term is going to be such a huge, huge thing for them. Not only that, but it's helping their whole entire family, which just, anyway, the whole other subject.
Every area is going to have something similar to what I'm talking about, but with Colorado Springs, Fountain, all the surrounding cities specifically, One thing that we like to educate the clients on as well is resale value. And there's so many factors that can go into your resale value. Obviously, how long are you going to live in the home? That's a pretty important factor. But for them, it was built in 1961. This community is extremely established, obviously, but we want to make sure that if you're going to get into something, why are you wanting to get into it? How long are you planning on living there? Because there can be some ways to move into an area where your equity is going to increase a little bit quicker. New build communities, for example, if you're getting in there and you're not planning on living there a long time, it may or may not make sense for you to move there because equity can increase very quickly, but then at a certain point it can get stagnant. Lorson Ranch is a pretty popular community here. The new builds are crazy. There are so many. They are able to incentivize with their lenders to drop your rates and things like that. So resale value in Lorson Ranch, for all my military folks especially, that place is extremely hard to move. And
they have higher tax rate.
And their tax rate's crazy. And I've seen it a dozen times where they get into this house, they live there for only a couple years because they're PCSing to their next station. And unfortunately, they sell it for less than what they purchased it for just because they're continuing to build and build and build and develop in that community so much. And when you have a brand new home listed at the same price as your resale home that's 2 years old and lived in, and they can get a lower interest rate, it's just so hard to sell. So if you're looking at purchasing and you're looking at resale values, hit us up, text us, comment, whatever you need to do. We will definitely guide you.
Well, and one of the hacks that we, especially with our military, right? Because you should invest in real estate. It's the number one investment tool that's going to give you your return.
All the millionaires invest in real estate.
It's not necessarily like a short-term gain though, right? So like our military, we tell them like you can use your VA loan multiple times. And so come here, get PCS tier, right? We'll help you purchase a home in 2 years when you get PCS to your next duty station, or 3 years, because they're normally 2-3 year assignments. We rent that one out. You rent that one out, you then use your we switch you over to a conventional, and then you go purchase your next home with your next duty station with your VA loan, you guys. So now you have a tenant in here because we're a huge high military place. And so now you're having someone else pay that mortgage and you're making a little bit of money off of it. You've purchased another home in your next duty station. By the time that you're out of the military, if you continue to purchase a home at every one of your duty stations, you're going to have an amazing portfolio. That is wealth, you guys. That's investment. So it's like even if you're only here for just a few years, invest. That's, obviously use us, but invest.
But again, reach out to us because we don't want you to be flipped upside down.
No,
we don't want your mortgage to be higher than what you can rent it out for. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into that. Like she said, call us, text us.
We're
but
there.
Quick, super funny story. It was probably 5, 6, maybe even longer, 7 years ago. But the guy in Banning Lewis, we had a neighbor who was switching duty stations and he was selling his house and he didn't want to buy there. He wanted to rent. Crystal convinced him that he needed to buy and do this rent out strategy. And it wasn't probably last year. He calls us and he goes, I'm getting my real estate license because I'm tired of paying these fees. I'm moving again and I'm ready to buy another house, but I want to save money on this end. So I'm not saying you need to get your real estate license, but he has just figured out this thing where he PCSs every couple of years and now he has houses all over the country.
Right.
So it's an amazing hack. All right, guys, 5 things you need to be prepared about before you pack your bags and move to Colorado Springs. It's not for everyone. Our seasons are crazy. Your car's going to be dirty. Taxes are nuts. Housing inventory. We got problems here. But if you can stick it out and you have a good mindset, Colorado Springs is a great place to live.
And you know that Sean and I are here to help you if you're looking for your starter home, your dream home, if you're PCSing here, if you're going to be here just for a little bit. You know how to reach us, 719-238-1771. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss one of our amazing videos all about Colorado Springs.
And don't forget to comment below. I'm curious about the taxes. I'm curious about the road conditions, the windshield.
Tell us where you're from, at least, minimum.
We'll see you in the next one.